Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics and Rockin Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day and I like to give you some great reasons to go to black-cat-comics.com and pick up something fun to read. Finally, it's a big week full of great books to talk about, some of my favorite books, some of your favorite books, but let's start with one of my favorites. This is the A-Team, The Avengers, number 44. One of my favorite books of all time, along with Captain America. You know that. I say it at least once a month. This one wraps up the big Phoenix thing that's been going on. Lots of fun. Avengers is, boy, as good as it's been in a long, long time. Really fun stuff. Jump into this to see how the arc all wraps up, or pick up the latest few issues, or just hang out for number 45. It's going to be a big one. The next arc for Avengers is really huge. Like I say, one of the best books Marvel has, one of my favorite books of all time. Anything with Captain America is going to be awesome, right? Immortal Hulk, another one of my favorite books. Another book I talk about all the time. Number one, those amazing Alex Ross covers. Always worth cover price just for those Alex Ross covers. But this is really one of the more interesting titles out there. I'm not traditionally a big Hulk fan. Maybe you're not a big Hulk fan. Maybe you are a big Hulk fan. But anybody should be reading this book. It's a little bit horror, a little bit sci-fi, a little bit the end of the Incredible Hulk TV show with that really sad music that plays as Bruce Banner walks off. This book has it all. Pick up the first trade paperback to see what I've been talking about for years, or just jump into this latest issue. The book will be wrapping up sometime around issue 50, so don't miss out. This one's really awesome. Anybody will tell you Immortal Hulk's one of the best books in comics. Amazing Spider-Man, another one of the best books in comics, another book I talk up all the time. Any jump-in point is the point that you need to come in, pick up the last issue, pick up this issue, pick up the first volume of the Spencer run. If you're any kind of Spider-Man fan, you need to come back to this book. If you've never been a Spider fan, the current arc will show you why he's been one of the most popular heroes in comics for 50 or 60 years. Great villains, great stories, great art, fun and exciting, a little bit of humor, a little bit of tug at your heartstrings. Like I say, nothing not to love about Amazing Spider-Man. King in Black, number 5. Marvel's big event. This one wraps it all up. A lot going on in this book. Another book I've been talking about because, boy, it just really impressed me. I wasn't expecting to follow all the different stuff, but King in Black totally sucked me in because the main book's been really good and Venom has been really good. This is your latest issue of this. Only one more issue to go. Doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. Everybody's already got all the King in Black stuff on their list, but I wanted to show you that the main book's out this week. Venom is out this week. A lot of fun going on there. Excalibur and Marauders are your two X books for the week. Been encouraging everybody to have an X title on their list. Excalibur is one of the more popular ones. Marauders is one of the more popular ones. Of course, there's X-Men, X-Force, New Mutants, all that good stuff. Like I say, everybody should have an X book on their list. Conan the Barbarian shows you that Marvel does a little bit outside the superhero stuff. And Star Wars High Republic, another one of the hottest books in comics. This one sells out and goes to reprint every single time. Another book that doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. But if you're any kind of Star Wars fan, pick up like the 9th printing of the first issue and catch up to this week's number 4. Really good stuff. Great week for the DC guys. I'm always saying it's a big week for this guy. This is Batman number 107, one of the biggest books in comics. 106 totally sold out. Reprint is out this week. If you haven't been reading Batman, if you're one of the 3 people that's not reading Batman, might want to jump in on the new issue and see what everybody's talking about. Batman's Second Son, because as I say, it's always a big week for Batman. I'm a real big fan of side Bat books and all the other things that they do with the character to show readers that there's just an infinite world of things you can do with Bruce Wayne and his cronies, like Next Batman, like Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity. That's your Black Label book of the week. Like I say, sort of no end to the diversity of Bat characters and Bat concepts, like Man-Bat. If you're old school like me, you love some Man-Bat. This one's been flying under the radar, but like I say, if you're an old schooler, if you're a Batman the Animated Series fan, or just a good old school Batman fan, you're going to want to pick that up. Man-Bat's awesome. And then Green Lantern, number 1. Green Lantern gets a new first issue after what's been going on with the Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp stuff that I have loved so much. Always love any first issue of a Green Lantern title. That and Far Sector, which is kind of a Green Lantern book, I guess. And then all of your Infinite Frontier stuff hits its second issues. That's your second issue of Suicide Squad. This is your second issue of Swamp Thing. Your second issue of Sensational Wonder Woman, a book everybody should have on their list. And the second issue of Crime Syndicate. Probably my favorite of the new batch of DC stuff. All kinds of new titles rolling out from DC as your core titles come back in after all the future state stuff. I've still got all the first issues in stock, so try something new, something fun and exciting. Infinite Frontiers off to a good start. And then it's a great week for all the other guys too. Lots of fun stuff like Beasts of Burden. It's your Dark Horse book of the week from Evan Dorkin. If you don't know much about Evan Dorkin, boy, you have some real entertaining books ahead of you. Pick up some Beasts of Burden, Google Evan Dorkin and buy any book that he's written because he's hilarious. He's one of the unique talents of comics. And Beasts of Burden, it's really great to see that back. Geiger is one of your many Image books of the week. This is probably the book of the week. This is already sold out and has all the buzz behind it because it's got some of the top talent in comics, as a lot of Image books do. This and Silver Coin are your first issue. Gotta have it Image books of the week. Always encouraging you guys to try those Image first issues because Image does all kinds of stuff that the other publishers don't do. Check out the guy rocking out on the back there. That's awesome. Like Noctera and Deep Beyond, a couple of newer Image hits, issue 2, issue 3. Like I say, grab those first issues. They'll suck you in and keep going because, like I say, Image does all kinds of cool genre fusion stuff like that. Speaking of fusion, Sonya Versal is your Dynamite book of the week because there's nothing more awesome than a whole bunch of Red Sonyas teaming up to save the multiverse. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is your Boom Studios book of the week. My man Joss has been in a little bit of hot water, but his comics are still awesome. Blade Runner 2029 is my book of the week because I love me some Blade Runner and I love me some cool pulpy science fiction. That's your Titan book of the week. Resistance Uprising is my AWA book of the week. Been talking up AWA. Always like the Image first issues. Always encourage you guys to grab first issues from some of the newer publishers or from a publisher you might not have a book from. Can't go wrong with Resistance because that's written by J. Michael Straczynski of Babylon 5 fame, though I consider him of Rising Stars fame one of the best writers you'll ever find in comics. Great stuff. And Project Patron is my Aftershock book of the week. Another first issue, another opportunity to try something new, fun, cool, and exciting from a publisher you might not know about. And last but definitely not least, let's talk about some of the most awesomeness ever. This is Heavy Metal Magazine. One of the coolest things ever of all time. Don't get to talk enough about Heavy Metal Magazine, but if you like science fiction, if you just love great stories and great art with a bit of a mature reader angle, Heavy Metal is the magazine for you. I show you this one because right there on the cover is Frank Frazetta. If any picture of Frank Frazetta doesn't get you to buy the magazine, then you're just a cold-hearted human being. Because Frank Frazetta is the awesomest of all time. Pick up this week's Heavy Metal, read all about Frank Frazetta, and just soak up that art because it's wonderful. And while I'm on the subject of Heavy Metal, maybe you didn't know that they make comic books now. Not only do they have the coolest magazine of all time, but they make great comics. And this is Rise #1, written by George Romero. It just doesn't get any cooler than Frank Frazetta and George Romero. Kudos to Heavy Metal because they're awesome. And Marvel Action, Captain Marvel, is your all-ages book of the week. Always talking up the great job IDW does with their Marvel Comics all-ages line. They do Captain Marvel, they do Spider-Man, they do Avengers, they do Star Wars Adventures, they do all kinds of fun stuff. You got that young reader in your life, or just looking for something a little lighter, a little less apocalyptic, pick up some Marvel Action because it's awesome. Great week of stuff. So go to black-cat-comics.com. Click on New This Week, or click on Shop, click on New This Week, take a look at all the books, and pick yourself up something awesome and fun to read. That's all we got for you for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.